In a glittering city where wealth and power tower above the streets, one humble cleaner moves unseen through the halls of luxury. Emma, burdened by bills and heartbreak, lives a life of quiet dignity, sweeping floors by day and caring for others by night. But when a blind man begins appearing in her building, lost and disoriented, she offers help without hesitation. She never asks for thanks, never expects anything in return. What Emma doesn't know is that this man, frail, blind, and dressed in rags, is none other than Nathan Hudson, the billionaire CEO of the very empire she cleans for. Driven by a growing distrust of those around him, Nathan goes undercover, desperate to find a shred of genuine kindness in a world obsessed with status. And Emma, she becomes his test. Through silent acts of compassion and selflessness, Emma begins to crack Nathan's cynical shell. But when a cruel twist puts her job and future at risk, Nathan must decide. Will he reveal the truth and stand by her, or will he remain a silent observer in her fall? This is the story of one woman's unshakable goodness, and how it changes everything, even the heart of a billionaire. A dim alarm buzzes softly. Morning light filters through a cracked window. A woman, early 30s, weary-eyed yet quietly resolute, stirs awake. The room is sparse. Peeling wallpaper, a single mattress on the floor, a tiny heater in the corner hums. She sits up, yawns, and stretches her back with practiced weariness. Her bare feet touch the cold linoleum floor. She pulls on a faded gray uniform, buttoning each snap with mechanical rhythm. A badge dangles from the collar. Cleaning staff, Hudson Enterprises. In the kitchen, a kettle whistles softly on a rusty stove. She pours water into a chipped mug. Instant coffee. No sugar. She sits and stares at a small photo frame on the table. A smiling couple, arms around a young girl in school uniform. She touches the glass gently, then exhales. She packs a paper lunch, half a sandwich, a bruised apple, and a bottle of tap water. Into a plastic grocery bag it goes. She slips on cracked sneakers and slings a satchel across her shoulder. Outside, the city groans awake. Cars honk. Sidewalks bustle. Rain drizzles faintly. She tightens her coat and walks briskly, dodging puddles and weaving between vendors. Her pace is steady. Her expression neutral. A subway station yawns open. She descends. The crowd swallows her. She stands, gripping a pole, surrounded by suits and earbuds. No one looks at her. The train screeches forward. At the next stop, she emerges. Skyscrapers loom overhead. The tallest, Hudson Enterprises, steel and glass gleaming against gray skies. She walks up the marble steps. Guards glance, then dismiss her. She flashes her badge at a side entrance and disappears into the staff corridor. Fluorescent lights buzz overhead as she enters the janitor's locker room. Other cleaners mill about, joking, grumbling, rushing. She keeps to herself, nods politely, and retrieves her cart, mop, rags, spray bottles. She pushes the cart down an endless hallway. A receptionist's heels click by. A man in a tailored suit exits an elevator and sneers slightly as he passes her. She bows her head and keeps moving. The elevator doors part. She enters and presses the basement level. As the doors close, she catches her reflection. Tired eyes, expression unreadable. The basement is dim. She starts in the mailroom, wiping counters, emptying bins. The work is rhythmic, repetitive. She hums faintly to herself, a melody lost in the silence. Hours pass. She cleans a conference room left in disarray. Crumpled papers, half-empty water bottles, chairs askew. She straightens everything with methodical care. At noon, she eats alone in a storage room. The sandwich is dry, the apple mealy. She eats anyway, eyes on her phone, an old model with a cracked screen, a calendar reminder, rent due 3 days. A text message pops up. Any luck on the extra shifts? She types slowly, still waiting to hear back. She puts the phone away and sips water. Her break ends. She resumes on the 22nd floor. Executives stroll by, absorbed in conversations. One drops a folder. She picks it up, hands it silently. The woman doesn't make eye contact. In a corner office, through a glass wall, a man in a suit argues with 2 others. She catches a glance of him, late 30s, sharp-featured, charismatic in posture. The door slams. The man stays behind, massaging his temple. She continues wiping the hallway glass. As the sun dips lower, she gathers supplies and wheels her cart to the staff room. Her back aches. She stretches, rolls her shoulders, and packs up. In the locker room, she changes slowly. Other cleaners laugh about a game, but she only smiles faintly, mind elsewhere. Outside, night has fallen. Streetlights flicker on. She walks to the subway, clutching her coat tighter. The wind bites. Her bag rustles with cleaning gloves still peeking from the zipper. On the train ride home, she dozes off standing. A jolt wakes her, her stop. She exits, walks the cracked sidewalk back to her apartment. At home, she peels off the uniform, folds it neatly. She heats up a can of soup, eats it slowly while staring at nothing. On the counter, an envelope marked "Final Notice" sits unopened. She brushes her teeth with a half-used tube, then sinks into the mattress. The ceiling has a faint water stain. She turns toward the wall. The photo of her parents and younger self still sits beside her. She closes her eyes. Her hand rests on her badge. Silence fills the room. The city hums outside. And sleep, slow and heavy, takes her away. A new day. The same dim alarm buzzes. The woman wakes up before the sun, her routine precise. She dresses, checks her badge, grabs the same packed lunch. She steps into the morning, blending with the workers of the city. Rain threatens again, gray skies looming. The towering form of Hudson Enterprises dominates the skyline. The mirrored facade reflects the scurrying people below. She ascends the steps, passing luxury cars and polished shoes. The side entrance welcomes her again, silent, unnoticed. Inside, opulence reigns. Marble floors, brass fixtures, giant LED screens flick through financial updates. A sculpture dominates the lobby, steel wings, cold and graceful. She passes beneath it unseen. In the service hallway, she prepares her cart. A clipboard hangs with the day's assignments. She's covering level 17 today, a sales floor, more executives, more mess. She presses the elevator button and waits. The mirrored doors reflect a woman in a faded uniform. The elevator dings. She enters. Floor after floor of glamour passes behind closed doors. On the 17th, the floor was busy. Sales reps dart between cubicles, phone calls echoing, keyboards clacking. A loud conversation ends in a round of laughter. No one notices her weaving through them with practiced grace. She wipes desks, careful not to disturb papers. She moves with speed and silence like a ghost in a machine. Someone knocks coffee onto the floor in a rush. She arrives seconds later with a rag before the assistant even reacts. Lunch is announced by the aroma of catered food. Steak skewers, miniature tarts, imported coffee. She watches through glass as the staff line up, chatter rising. She retreats to the supply closet, unwraps her sandwich. No windows, just shelves and the soft hum of a water heater. Later, she takes her cart down a quieter hallway. She pauses at a glass door marked Executive Lounge. Inside, leather chairs, a view of the city, shelves of rare whiskey. Empty, but crumbs and scuffs linger. She cleans methodically. She doesn't sit, she doesn't take it. A crystal tumbler has fingerprints. She wipes it carefully. A movement behind her. She turns. A man walks by. Trim beard, fitted coat, designer shoes. He glances at her once, barely registering her. She nods. He doesn't. Back in the hallway, she checks her watch. 2 hours left. She moves on to restrooms, then hallway mirrors, then the stairwells. Every surface reflects her for a moment, then forgets her just as quickly. Back at her locker, she sits briefly. The break room television shows a news segment. Hudson Enterprises CEO avoids interview again. The screen shows a still photo of a sharp-eyed man in a navy suit. Nathan Hudson. She looks for a moment, then turns away. Later, she rides the train home again. Her head nods forward and back. Her fingers grip the strap as the train rocks. Her mind races through unpaid bills, her mother's favorite song, a faint hope for a second job. As the train screeches to a stop, her reflection in the window merges with a billboard above the platform. Be seen. Be powerful. Be Hudson. She walks into the night, past stores closing, past lights blinking out, back to her quiet room and a folded uniform, ready to do it all again. High above the city, floor-to-ceiling windows filter early light into a lavish penthouse office. The decor is sleek, steel, glass, minimalist. A digital display reads, Hudson Enterprises Executive Suite, 6:45 a.m. Nathan Hudson stands alone in front of a window, hands in his pockets. He's in his late 30s, clean-shaven today. Tailored vest, sharp slacks. The skyline stretches endlessly behind him, yet he watches the ground level. A knock at the door. An assistant enters with a tablet. On screen, employee profiles, performance reports, names, faces, stats. One entry is highlighted. Emma Lane, maintenance, night shift. He waves the assistant away. Once alone, he walks to the private lounge, opens a cabinet. Inside, he pulls out a small canvas bag. He removes items one by one. Dark sunglasses, a lightweight white cane, old jeans, an oversized hoodie. He changes slowly, methodically. When finished, he's no longer the CEO, just a tired-looking man in borrowed clothes. He examines himself in the mirror, adjusting his expression to match the disguise. Slack jaw, unsure posture, furrowed brow. He places the sunglasses over his eyes. Then he picks up a thin blindfold strip. He ties it carefully behind his head, leaving the illusion intact. A hidden elevator opens. He descends into a private garage where an old van waits. He drives himself a block away from Hudson Enterprises, parks, and steps out. He taps the cane forward with a convincing rhythm, each step hesitant. He approaches the main entrance slowly. Pedestrians dodge him. No one offers help. Inside the lobby, bright and gleaming, he stumbles lightly on purpose. The cane drops. Keys spill. He kneels, struggling to gather them. No one stops until she appears. She crouches beside him. Her hands reach without hesitation. She picks up the cane, places it in his hand, then gently helps him to his feet. He doesn't look up. She doesn't speak. She just nods and steadies him. Then she turns and walks away. He listens to her footsteps fading. He presses a small device in his pocket, a signal. Somewhere upstairs, a camera angle adjusts. He moves toward the elevator, pretending uncertainty. She notices again, returns, and lightly presses the call button for him. The doors open. She guides him inside, presses the floor. She doesn't hover, just waits silently, hands clasped. He listens. The elevator dings. She gently leads him out. He nods. She nods. She walks away. He doesn't smile, but his jaw tenses. He turns back. She's already gone. The following day he returns, dressed the same, sunglasses, cane, worn shoes. This time he waits near the front desk, eyes hidden behind the glasses. She enters quietly. Same uniform, same satchel. She notices him immediately. He pretends not to sense her. As she passes, his hand fumbles. His coffee cup, paper fresh, drops to the marble floor. It rolls, spills. The cane slips. She's by his side instantly. Napkins, trash. She places the empty cup into the bin, dabs his coat sleeve with the rest. All in silence. A receptionist stares. A security guard frowns. She doesn't care. Later, he wanders toward the escalators, slightly off course. She approaches, lightly places her hand near his shoulder without touching. She gestures toward the correct direction. He nods slowly, grateful. In the stairwell, she finds him seated halfway up, tired. She climbs, offers water from her bag. He accepts. They sit in silence. He listens as she rises to leave. Her footsteps are soft but resolute. In the camera room, security staff watch. The CEO's face appears on a hidden screen behind the disguise. A single red light blinks. Observe, do not intervene. Outside, the blind man leans on the stairwell railing, listening to the woman he's chosen for something more than just her job. Midweek. The morning sun casts long shadows between the glass towers. Inside the gleaming lobby of Hudson Enterprises, the janitor's entrance opens. Emma arrives, punctual, invisible. Her sneakers squeak faintly on the marble floors as she checks the day's assignment list. 12th floor, East Wing today. She pushes her cart forward. Outside the grand lobby, the blind man waits. Nathan, in disguise, leans on his white cane. His posture is slumped, his hoodie hooded low over his brow. A paper bag dangles from his wrist. As employees stream in, he makes his way toward the entrance. His cane taps unevenly. He fumbles again, this time deliberately missing the automatic door sensor. The bag rips. A small container of pills spills across the floor. Emma rushes forward, kneeling quickly. She retrieves the pill bottle, hands it back. Then she gathers the fallen pills with a tissue, careful not to touch them directly. She drops them gently into his palm. No conversation, only her steady presence. She helps him to a bench nearby, offers him a drink from her own bottle. He shakes his head gently. She places the bottle beside him anyway and leaves, vanishing through the staff corridor. Later, on the 12th floor, Emma works quietly. Spray, wipe, repeat. A nervous intern knocks over a trash can. Papers scatter. Emma kneels. The intern stammers. She simply smiles and keeps cleaning. Near the elevators, Nathan appears again. This time holding a phone upside down, pretending to use a voice app. He stands in front of the wrong elevator, clearly unsure. Emma approaches, taps the right button for him, again silent. Over the next hour he appears multiple times, each time struggling. She helps. He forgets his way to the restroom. She guides him. He drops his keycard. She finds it. He stands in front of the women's lounge by mistake. She redirects him gently, unfazed. On her lunch break, she sits alone on the fire escape, the city humming below. Nathan stands a floor up, leaning over a rail, still in disguise. He watches her eat a bruised peach, pull out her phone, and respond to a message. The screen shows, "Rent overdue, final warning." She sighs, pockets it, and returns to work. At the end of the day, a janitor's closet door gets stuck. Emma struggles with it. Nathan, unseen, watches from behind a column. She forces it open, retrieves her things, and drags her cart toward the exit. Her shoulders slump slightly. No one notices. Except him. In the surveillance room, footage rewinds, multiple angles. Every interaction is reviewed. Her posture, her reactions, her patience. The screen pauses on her smile, not bright, but real. Nathan removes the blindfold and sunglasses once inside the privacy of his office. He sits in silence for a long time, fingers steepled. The door buzzes, an assistant enters holding a folder. "Should we move ahead with the cleaning staff cuts?" she asks. Nathan stares out the window, doesn't answer. He gestures to leave. The assistant nods and backs out. Outside, Emma boards the subway again. Her uniform folded in her lap, her shoulders lean into the door. The city doesn't see her, but Nathan does, and he's not done testing. The apartment is colder tonight. Emma steps in, shrugs off her coat. The heater wheezes but gives no warmth. She places her badge and keys on the counter and sits on the mattress. She peels off her shoes. A hole in her sock reveals her bruised heel. She massages it briefly, then stands to check the mailbox in the hallway. Inside the box, a yellow envelope. Final eviction notice. She closes her eyes. Back inside, she sits at the table and opens her phone. A budgeting app is open. Rent, groceries, transport. She opens a second app. Messaging. She types, "I can't make full rent this month. I'll try again next week." She sends it. No reply. She reheats leftover rice and eggs. She eats in silence, eyes on the flickering ceiling light. Elsewhere, in a room of leather and glass, Nathan leans back in a black leather chair, reviewing HR files. The board is demanding cuts. The names are highlighted. Emma's name is there. He clicks a tab. Performance observations. Camera footage. Notes from security. Transcriptions of her actions over the past week. Kind, quiet, never ask, always helps. Underlined. Another file. Employee review history. Emma has never been late. No write-ups, no complaints. But the budget pressures mount. Nathan stands, walks to the glass window. The skyline blinks with advertisements and power, but far below, tiny figures move in the cold. He presses a button on the intercom. "Cancel the cleaning staff meeting tomorrow." The voice replies, "Yes, sir." Emma wakes the next morning early. She checks her messages again. No job offers. One friend offered her couch. Another left a voicemail with no words. Just static and then a hang-up. At work, she avoids eye contact with supervisors. She overhears two staff whispering about the list. Job cuts. Random layoffs. She grips her cart harder. In the hallway, she finds a young man staring at the vending machine. The screen blinks out of service. He walks away. Emma kneels and opens the base panel. She hits a small button. The machine hums back to life. She doesn't tell anyone. She keeps pushing. Later, Nathan accidentally blocks a hallway. He fumbles for his cane, pretending to be confused. Emma approaches from the other end. He drops a file this time, a sealed folder with no name. She picks it up and tries to hand it to him. He backs away, muttering an apology. She kneels and slips it into his messenger bag, still not knowing who he is. At the end of her shift, she lingers in the lobby. A group of executives walk past. One makes a joke at her expense. She pretends not to hear. Outside, the wind bites. She wraps her coat tighter. Nathan stands at a distance, watching through the glass, hands in his pockets. The security guard approaches. "Need help, sir?" "No," he says, "just watching." Storm clouds gather over the city. Rain begins to fall in heavy sheets. Emma exits the subway, hood up, coat soaked through. She tightens her grip on her bag and rushes up the steps toward the Hudson building. At the entrance, she stops. Near the revolving door, slouched against the column, Nathan, still in disguise, sits on the cold stone. His cane lies broken in two pieces beside him. His hoodie is drenched. One hand clutches a soaked napkin. His other arm wraps around himself, shivering. She drops her bag instantly and rushes forward. She kneels beside him, shielding him with her body. Rain runs down her face. She removes her coat and drapes it over his shoulders. He mumbles something inaudible, and she nods, not needing words. She checks the broken cane, tries to tape it with a strip from her bag, then sighs when it splinters further. She lifts the man's arm, wrapping it around her shoulder, and helps him to his feet. She leads him slowly into the lobby. Wet shoes squeak on the floor. The receptionist scowls. "He can't be in here like that," she says. Emma ignores her. She guides him to a bench, pulls out her umbrella, and places it beside him. Then, without a word, she picks up her bag and walks away. Her own coat gone, hair plastered to her skin. Nathan stays on the bench, silent. Behind dark glasses, his eyes do not blink. He reaches up slowly and touches the coat. It's thin, worn, slightly torn at the elbow, but still warm from her body. Security footage captures it all. In the privacy of the control room, an operator zooms in. Nathan's face, partially shadowed, shows something rare, a flicker of guilt, and something else, respect. The sun creeps higher behind thick clouds, casting a pale glow over Hudson Enterprises. Inside the top-floor boardroom, sleek glass walls overlook the city like an imperial throne room. 10 chairs line the obsidian table. Most are filled. A digital agenda blinks at the head. Operational cost review, Q2 staffing adjustments. Executives murmur, flipping through printed spreadsheets. A senior VP points to a column. "We're overstaffed in facilities. Maintenance costs have spiked. Cleaning personnel alone account for..." Nathan Hudson enters, no disguise. Sharp navy suit, trimmed beard. His entrance silences the room. He doesn't sit. He circles the table slowly, hands behind his back. "Proceed," he says. The VP clears his throat. "We've isolated a list of employees eligible for release. Low-impact roles, low visibility, primarily overnight cleaners, part-time tech support, and contract cafeteria staff." A second exec chimes in. "It's a clean cut, sir. No major public blowback. Nothing customer-facing. And HR says they're all replaceable if things turn around next quarter." Nathan lifts a single sheet from the pile. Emma Lane's name is circled in red. He stares at it. His silence stretches. "Sir," someone prompts. Nathan folds the sheet in half. "Postpone this discussion. I'll evaluate these names personally." He walks out, the paper still in hand. Later, in his private suite, Nathan stands before a floor-to-ceiling monitor, displaying camera footage. One screen shows Emma returning to her station, hair still damp from the morning's rain. Her coat is gone, still draped over the blind man from earlier. She scrubs a bathroom tile with determination, knees on cold tile. She picks up a glove someone else dropped, tucks it into their forgotten bag. Then she empties a trash bin that clearly isn't on her list. She moves, like the building belongs to someone else, but she treats it like it's hers. Nathan presses a control, the footage rewinds, pauses, zooms on her face. The intercom buzzes, his assistant's voice. "Sir, the VP of Finance is asking for a final decision on the terminations." Nathan doesn't answer. Instead, he pulls open a drawer, removes the blindfold, sunglasses, cane. He hesitates, then he places them aside. That afternoon, in a security review meeting, the head of building operations mentions an unknown vagrant loitering in the lobby multiple days this week. He's being let in by one of the cleaning girls, Emma Lane, might be someone she knows. Nathan interrupts. "Not a vagrant, he's part of a case study." Blank stares. Nathan leans forward. "Keep observing, no interference, and do not speak to Miss Lane. That's an order." Across the city, Emma stands in line at a laundromat. Her fingers rub together from the cold. Her phone buzzes with a message. "Eviction in 72 hours. She stares at the screen. Her name is printed in large font above the deadline. She closes her eyes and breathes. Behind her, two women laugh over drinks. "Did you hear about the layoffs?" one says. "God, I'd die if I had to go back to food service." Emma folds her clothes quietly, alone. The next morning, tension clings to the air like fog. On the 15th floor, Emma wipes a hallway mirror, unaware of the footsteps behind her. A voice barks, "You! Step aside!" She turns. A security supervisor stands with two guards. "We need to search your cart." Emma blinks, confused. "Why?" "Unauthorized item reported. Routine check." They rummage through her cleaning cart, rags, sprays, gloves. Then one pulls out a gold-plated pen, engraved, expensive. Emma's eyes widened. "That's not mine." "It was reported missing yesterday from the 33rd floor, found in your supply cart." She shakes her head. "I didn't." "You're being placed on temporary suspension pending investigation." She stammers, trying to speak, but the words collapse in her throat. Other staff pass by. No one stops. No one helps. A supervisor escorts her to the locker room. "Leave your badge," he says. Emma removes it slowly, placing it on the table like a broken piece of herself. They allow her to pack her bag in silence. Her hands tremble. She doesn't cry. Nathan watches from the surveillance room, fists clenched. His voice is low. "Who filed the report?" An assistant reads from a file. "Brad Laskin, junior manager, said he saw her near the desk." Nathan's jaw tightens. "Has he worked with her before?" "No, he's new." "Pull his footage, review every second." An hour later, the truth is clear. Brad planted the pen to cover up his own mistake. It was supposed to vanish. Nathan watches Emma walk out the side exit, coatless in the wind. She clutches her bag like armor. He speaks to no one in particular. Where is she going? No one answers. Emma boards the train. Her eyes are empty. Her phone buzzes again. No job offers. No apartment leads. She presses her head against the cold glass and shuts her eyes. Back at Hudson Enterprises, Nathan descends into the lobby, not in disguise. His stride is fast, precise. He enters a room marked HR, Conduct. The startled director stands. Nathan slams the folder down. "Reinstate her, clear her file, and call me when it's done." The director nods, speechless. Nathan leaves without waiting. In his office, he opens the file labeled Character Evaluation, Lane Emma. He adds a note. Observed under stress. Response, integrity intact. He closes the file, leans back, and exhales. Then he picks up the phone. The apartment is almost empty now, boxes half packed. The eviction notice is stuck to the fridge with tape. Emma sits on the mattress, phone in hand. She rereads the last message she sent. "Thank you for everything. I'll find another way." A chime. New message from hr@hudsonent.com. Emma Lane, please report to the executive office, 9:00 a.m. tomorrow. She stares at it, then again. The next morning, she dresses with care. Fresh shirt, clean pants, her worn coat zipped up tight. Her hands shake as she boards the train. At Hudson Enterprises, she's buzzed through security. A guard escorts her past the regular staff entrances, past the elevators she never touches. She steps into a glass elevator that shoots upward like a rocket. At the top floor, silence, luxury. A private assistant opens a grand door. Inside, a sunlit office. Nathan Hudson stands at the window, back turned. He speaks. "Miss Lane, thank you for coming." She pauses. He turns. No disguise, no cane, no glasses. Her eyes widen. "You," she says softly. But he holds up a hand. He gestures to the table. A contract, a sealed envelope, a small box. She steps forward, uncertain. On the table, offer of employment, community outreach director. Her hands tremble. Beside the offer, a check. The amount erases all her debts, covers future rent, a new start. Inside the box, her badge, polished, clean, reinstated. Nathan watches her. She doesn't speak, just closes her eyes, breathes deeply and slowly. Her lips form the smallest, quietest smile. Not for him, for herself. The city glows beneath a pale morning sun. Its skyscrapers stretch upward like ambition cast in steel. Inside Hudson Enterprises, a new rhythm pulses. Subtle, unseen, like a tide turning quietly. Emma stands in front of a mirror. A sleek blazer hugs her shoulders. Her hair is pinned neatly, face composed. Her badge now gleams. Emma Lane, Director of Community Outreach. Her office is modest but sunlit, tucked behind the main atrium. A few family photos line the desk. A calendar is filled with names, meetings, outreach projects, and donation drives. She walks the halls now with quiet confidence. Not a ghost, but a presence. In the cafeteria, she speaks with a group of kitchen staff, clipboard in hand. She takes notes as they describe faulty equipment, long hours. She nods, intent, listen with respect. Later, she visits the janitorial wing. Familiar faces brighten. One cleaner hands her a wrapped snack, laughing. Emma hugs her briefly. The hallway smells of lemon polish and memory. In a conference room, executives sit around a long table. Emma stands at the head, presenting slides. Proposed benefits expansion, part-time and night shift employees. The room is quiet, attentive. From a seat near the window, Nathan watches silently. No intervention, no expression. After the meeting, he approaches her. He says nothing, simply hands her a folded paper, one of her old performance reviews, red-stamped non-essential. She glances at it, smiles softly, and folds it once more before slipping it into her bag. In her office, she writes names on a whiteboard. Next, health coverage for contract workers, emergency housing support. She underlines each one. In the break room, a young cleaner opens her paycheck and gasps, "A bonus." She looks around in disbelief. Other staff check their envelopes. Smiles spread like dominoes. Emma walks by unnoticed. And that's fine. She never needed to be seen. She just needed to help. Spring rolls in quietly. Trees lining the city sidewalks are pale green. The air smells like possibility. Emma walks into a large community hall. Tables are set. Flyers line the walls. Hudson Outreach Wellness Weekend. She adjusts a stack of brochures, then moves to the stage area. Dozens of janitors, cafeteria workers, clerks, and techs gather, laughing, greeting each other. Some still wear uniforms, others wear street clothes. All are welcome. She takes the podium briefly. Her voice is steady but calm. She gestures once toward a banner behind her. Every role matters. Applause rises, modest, genuine. She steps down and begins moving through the room. She listens to stories, hears concerns, connects one woman to a childcare grant, hands a form to a young man starting school at night. In a quiet corner, a cleaner approaches her with tears. She lost her apartment the previous month. Emma reaches into her bag, hands her a folded slip. A voucher, housing assistance, no drama, no cameras. In the main Hudson lobby, a new wall display glows. Faces of our foundation. Photos of employees line the wall. Custodians, technicians, drivers, each smiling. At the center, Emma's portrait, modest, direct. Below her name, kindness carried forward. A new janitor enters the building, nervous, first day. He drops a bucket near the entrance. A guest steps around him with irritation, but a young man, fresh from orientation, bends to help, steadies the bucket, gives a kind nod. The cameras catch none of it, but Nathan, on his way out, notices. He stops briefly, then continues on, a faint smile tracing his face. The sun dips low behind Hudson Tower, casting long shadows across the rooftop garden. Flowers bloom in the neat rows, bees hover lazily, and the city below hums like a living machine. Emma sits on a bench, tea in hand. The sky glows soft amber. Across from her, Nathan arrives, not in a suit, but a simple sweater, sleeves rolled. No fanfare, no guards. He sits beside her. They watch the skyline. No words. Between them, silence. Not the kind that weighs down, but the kind that heals. Emma sets her tea down. Nathan reaches into his coat and pulls out something wrapped in plastic. The umbrella she once gave him, slightly frayed, still functional. He hands it to her. She chuckles softly, holding it, with a small shake of her head. He doesn't speak. He doesn't need to. The wind stirs the petals of nearby tulips. The light deepens. Street lights below flicker to life one by one. Emma leans back, breathes deeply. A quiet life, a job that matters, a future open again. She doesn't look at Nathan when she speaks. Her voice is barely above a whisper. Thank you. But he knows the words aren't just for him. They're for every moment she survived. For every act of kindness that asked for nothing. And for the peace she finally holds in her hands.